Hey guys, I want to welcome you today. I'm so excited because I have a guest on today. Her name is Faigie Kobre, and she is really into alcohol inks. And so, what I would actually love to start with, Faigie, is will you talk to us a little bit about how did you get into this medium? It's such a crazy medium to decide, like, this is the thing I'm going to do.
Right, right. That is true. So very quickly, I started out as an early childhood person. I had a degree, a master's in early childhood education, and I was an early childhood teacher, and then I was a director. And I was very, very much into the art part of that, very into the creativity, and I was like very anti all of these cookie cutter kinds of crafts, copycat crafts, we call it, that was going on in so many, it still goes on all over the place, and how it takes away the creativity of the kids. And I actually ended up giving workshops. I ended up being a workshop leader. Different schools would hire me to come, they have these in-service days and they have to have more education for the teachers. I would come and I would give a workshop on how to give kids art that's really developmentally appropriate, that's going to help them not be those adults that say, me, I can't draw a straight line. I can't even draw a straight line with a ruler. So I was doing that for a while, and then I stopped to raise my family. And then I was a photographer. I was a high-end photographer for many years. So I was kind of doing that. That was something I was able to do more part-time. And then I just somehow in a roundabout way I got into internet marketing, and I wanted to do something online, and I was told to do something, to create something. I wanted to create some kind of information product, and I was told to create something that I know. So what did I know? I knew art in the early childhood years. So I created some ebooks, and I created like I made a website, okay, for parents and teachers in the arts. And then I took a course on how to market that. How do I market this? And I was talking a lot to my coaches about my theories on education, and why people, so repressed with art, and why they feel they can't do it, how goes back to the early years. And one of the coaches said to me, did you ever think of starting a website for adults to kind of show them why they feel that they're so uncreative, and then you can lead them back to your site? So I said, okay, that sounds really interesting. And I started doing research on creativity. And as I'm doing research on creativity, I kept coming across this term mixed media, mixed media, mixed media. And it was just like fascinating to me, because I always thought of art as like, drawing, painting, oil painting. And mixed media is the kind of thing where you do stamping and stenciling and painting and watercolor and acrylic and everything you throw onto your page, and, in an art journal. And so I really got into that. I got into that at first, and I started a class in my home with some local ladies. And then I started this website, my website, Creativity Reignited, that I have now. And one day I was looking through my website, through my library's website, for different books. And all of a sudden I came across a book called Pigments of Your Imagination. And I was
That's
like
such a
stopped in my
great name.
and I was stopped in my tracks and ordered it to my library, and I picked it up, and it was just I just fell in love with it. And of course I bought the book, and it was just like the colors and the techniques and the imperfection of it also. It's like so imperfect, and like, you're looking at the reviews, somebody writing, everybody feels, it makes me feel like an artist. And that's what I find, that it makes people feel like artists. And so I just got into it, and there's something so fascinating about it, because you have a little bottle there, and little bottles of dye and alcohol base, and you work on non-porous surfaces, and you drop it down, and it spreads, and you don't have a lot of control over it. Now there is a genre of people that are alcohol ink artists, where they know how to actually paint with it, and they make the most magnificent things, but it is open to so many people that are not artistic, or think they're not artistic, or just don't feel creative. And it's such a healing, it's a healing fun, and I just found that people love it. And I have found that it's a great way to get people into creativity if they really didn't feel so creative. Like I have a student who did it. She fell in love with the alcohol inks with me. She was in my mixed media class, and we were doing that. And she now moved out of the country, and she told me recently she's like taking oil painting classes now, because what that did was it opened up her creativity, and it just made her feel good about her work. Like she feels like she can sell some of her alcohol ink pieces, and she started just going into other areas because it made her feel I can do this. And that's why I got so into it. Aside from the fact that I just find that people are mesmerized by it, it's like they just absolutely love it. I just think it's a great segue into opening people up. Aside from just relaxing, it's a great stress relief. It's just a fun medium.
Yeah, it sounds really fun. So you can't control it, sounds like, the alcohol ink. You're really just letting it do its thing, but you're kind of placing it a little bit. Tell me more about
Both.
that.
So it's both. So there are ways to learn how to control it. So you first, when you start, you put a drip down, and then you can put another one down. You use alcohol. You have to use just same way water is to watercolors, alcohol is to alcohol inks, and you can control it like that. You can use blowers. You can use blow dryers. And then there are things you can use that like varnish, masking fluids. So there are ways to kind of control it. You have to go to learn how to use it. You learn about its uncontrollability, and then you can learn how to control it. But it's not like ray paint. Certainly not like anything like a computer, of course, but it's not like even the watercolor. People, watercolorists very often say you can't control it very well, but it's still much more uncontrollable than watercolors. So it's kind of uncontrollable, and it allows people, if you know how to use the right colors, it allows people to look like an artist, because the colors together, if you don't make mud, then you just add a little gold in there and you learn different techniques. You can just get beautiful things. You can do it on top of ceramics. People do it on tiles. I had a student that was making, like um, address signs. You could using stencils also and giving them as gifts, for holidays and stuff like that. So there's just so many things you can do with it. And it really makes people feel like they can.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit also about like how it frees people, the creative part, because you just mentioned one of your students really loves or went from this to then getting into acrylics or oils, some kind of painting.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Does this happen
Right.
a lot where people suddenly feel free and they feel like they can do other things?
I don't know how many people, I mean, she's a particular person that I know now she went on to something else. I know there are people that just like it and stick with this, or else there are people who are into this area. They're trying everything, crafters and people, and more of the crafters types. They're always looking to try something new, something catches their eye, the shiny object, or maybe it's just an excuse to buy more art supplies. That's probably because they say that is a hobby in itself. You
Yes.
have the art, your craft that you're in, and then you have your art supply buying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true of
Yeah.
I think all the hobbies. I feel that way about the fabric, the quilters, that part of the
Right.
hobby is just buying the
Yes.
fabric, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Crafters, it's the paper. We just want to buy all the
Right.
paper.
Right.
So good. Okay, well, I know you teach some classes. Where should people find you if they want to kind of find out more about alcohol inks and what you can do with them?
Okay. So I think a really good way to start is to get, Sharpie or alcohol ink markers. There's a lot of different brands. I myself have a few different brands that are alcohol ink markers. And when you use alcohol ink markers with alcohol, if it's on a non-porous surface, it wakes it up and it makes it look like the fluid inks. So it's a very beautiful effect as well. So I have a video on my site, creativityreignited.com. If you sign up, you get a video, 20-minute video that will give you 6 activities how you can get started with with alcohol ink markers. And then if you want to continue your journey with alcohol inks themselves, then you can do that. But this is a great way to get started. Just, hey, let me see what I can do with this. If you have a tile, pick up a tile in Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you live, on that, or some non-porous surface. It's just a great way to start.
Oh, I love that. That is an easy way to start with markers, something a little bit simple. Doesn't seem quite as scary. So it sounds like they
Right.
can go to creativityreignited.com.
.com,
Okay,
right? Yeah.
awesome. We'll have that
Yeah.
link in the show notes for everyone. Thank you so much for joining
Okay.
us, Faigie. I like
Okay,
this
my
has been
pleasure.
super fun to hear about your art. I've never done alcohol-based artwork. I have a couple of art minors and I've never done any of that. And that makes me want to go check it out and see what it's all
Okay.
about, which is pretty
Okay.
cool.
Great. Thank you so much.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.